Hey there, welcome back to another mini rant. This time it's about heroes versus heroes. Who cares? As you can see by the title, that's really how I feel. Who cares? I really have a hard time giving a fuck about what happens when two heroes or a bunch of heroes decide to fight each other. Civil War, Marvel Civil War, the actual comic series, was the main comic series from Marvel that made me completely quit reading Marvel comics entirely. I haven't read a single Marvel comic except for maybe a few Deadpool issues since Civil War. Because that pissed me off so much. It was so poorly handled. It was such a cash grab. It was so fundamentally flawed that it just made me lose hope in Marvel entirely. And it hasn't gotten any better with their recent PC kick. We got to be politically correct to the core. But that just sums up my feelings on Civil War. I hated Civil War. I hated that comic. And so now, with Captain America 3, it's loosely based on Civil War. It's not entirely based on Civil War, but it's still got the same sort of thing. It's Iron Man versus Captain America. Team Iron Man versus Team Captain America. And for me personally, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't want to see that. And the same thing goes for Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. I'm not alone on this. Everyone in my family that I've personally told them about these movies, about Civil War and about Batman versus Superman, their response was universally, why are they fighting? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Batman and Superman fight each other. Why are Captain America and Iron Man fighting each other? I don't want to watch that. And if everyone in my family feels that way, that I've told them about it, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of more other people that feel the same way. It's just a case of who cares. And the big reason why is because in these particular stories, when comics and movies take this angle, it is almost universally 100% predictable. It's the heroes fight each other, and no one wins, and there's a stalemate, and then they team up by the end of the movie to fight an even bigger evil, to fight the actual evil, because there isn't really any true villain in these type of stories. You're just heroes versus heroes. It's like a face versus face wrestling match. Those aren't very interesting unless there's a heel turn. So that's the thing. I mean, but even when Iron Man is going up against Captain America and his team, it's not technically a heel turn because they're going to throw something in there. Like, I've been thinking about this, and I think this is what they're going to do. They're going to make it so that Iron Man's dad was killed by Winter Soldier, and so Tony's pissed and gets the help of the government to try to take out Winter Soldier and get him on trial to arrest him and give him a punishment for his crimes. And Captain America's like, that's not Bucky, that's Winter Soldier. He had no control over his mind when he was doing those things. So Bucky isn't really responsible for that. Bucky is the one who we're dealing with right now, not Winter Soldier, because he's no longer mind controlled. And they're this back and forth. Oh no, but he needs to be tried for his crimes. Bull crap. And then Cap's gonna be like, he's my friend, and then Iron Man's gonna be like, well, so was I, which is stupid, it really wasn't Cap's friend, so that's a whole nother story. But, and then you're gonna have, like, there's gonna be a fight, they're gonna fight each other, Team Cap's gonna fight Team Iron Man, then they're gonna try to get Black Panther on one of their team, on their side, and then by the end of the movie, they're gonna stop fighting, they're gonna shake hands, and they're going to team up, and they're gonna fight Baron Zemo. So I think it's Zemo. Because I remember reading something that it's going to be Zemo. So they're going to team up and they're going to fight the actual evil. Because they're not. That's what makes these movies almost entirely, completely pointless. Other than just seeing these heroes fight each other on screen. Which is not enough for me. Because I know how this is going to end. Even if you throw in like one hero death or a few heroes die, it's still predictable because I can see that coming. I've read Civil War. I know how this ends up. Civil War. It, it, I mean, And even if they do die, I don't want to see that either. So that's the problem. Like, I don't want to see heroes die in that way, getting killed by other heroes. And I don't want to see heroes fight each other. Batman versus Superman. They're not going to let Batman or Superman win. It's going to be a stalemate. They're going to get in a fight, and then it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a stalemate, and then it's going to be wash, rinse, and repeat for any other superhero versus superhero film to the end of fucking time. Because no studio is going to have the balls to have one of the other heroes win. I mean, that's why you'll never see The Dark Knight Returns unless it's on an animated movie format. I'd love to see it in live action, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case. And if DC and Warner Brothers do somehow get the balls and have Batman knock Superman's ass out in Batman vs. Superman, part of me will be happy for it because I think Superman's kind of a douchebag in these movies, so it'll be like a little bit of vindication. But at the same time, I'm going to be a little bit upset because it just shows that Warner Brothers and DC are all about making Batman look good, and that's all they care about. And they will really make Superman look weak, and they're really not going to help his character. And Superman, they're trying to build up Superman, the new version of Superman for their franchise. And having him get knocked out by Batman in the movie is not going to help his image very much at all. It's not going to, and a lot of Superman fans are not going to be happy about that either. So, I don't think DC's going to do it. DC's not going to have the balls to do it because they're going to take the middle ground and they know we don't want to piss off the Superman fans and we don't want to piss off the Batman fans. So it's going to be a draw. The Batman versus Superman angle is just going to be them getting a fight where no one wins, and then they team up along with Wonder Woman to fight Lex Luthor and Doomsday. What? What? Doomsday? And he's part Zod, by the way, because Zod's body is used to create this monster. Because Lex Luthor takes Zod's dead body and uses it to create some Frankenstein monster, zombie, Zod creature thing that's supposed to be Doomsday. What the fuck? Serious? What the fuck? DC and Warner Brothers? Ah! It's not even Doomsday. It's Zod's Day. Once again, because he's part Zod, Superman cannot fight someone other than Zod and Luthor in his movies, except for Superman 3. Would you please fucking stop it already? Superman has other villains in his rogues gallery than fucking Luthor and Zod. And you completely fucked up the character Doomsday now by making him part Zod. So now it's not even Doomsday, it's Zod's Day. It's part Zod. Zod's dead body was used to make it. So it's part Zod. So you not only fucked up Doomsday, but you fucked up Zod as well. So how are you going to resurrect Zod now? He's part Doomsday. Oh, but Zod is... So now you're going to have Zod's a smart, intelligent villain is turned into a fucking unintelligent brute. And now you have Doomsday being part Zod. So you're going to have a serious case of deja vu now anytime you bring in Doomsday. Even if they do bring back Doomsday for a Death of Superman storyline in a future film, it's still going to be deja vu. And it's going to be double the deja vu because it's going to be Zod's Day. It's not going to be Doomsday. It's going to be Zod's Day. What the fuck, DC and Warner Brothers? You bring in Doomsday this early in this new Superman franchise? Are you fucking thick in the head? Do you even know what the fuck you're doing? Huge mistake. Big mistake. I know there are people out there who think Doomsday's a terrible villain. Get him out. Get him in the film series right at the bat because he's just an unintelligent brute. So then other villains can have their place in the franchise. Yes, okay. But I'm not one of those who thinks he's a bad villain. Just because he isn't super intelligent, super smart, doesn't mean he's a bad villain. He's one of the only villains in Superman's rogues gallery that killed him. The people say he was in a coma. No, he fucking died, and they brought him back. The resuscitation suits and brought him back to life. He was dead. He got brought back to life in a coma after he died. He didn't just go into a coma after Doomsday beat him. Doomsday killed him. He killed Superman. And the only reason why you'd bring Doomsday into a film is if Superman's gonna die. And you're setting it up for the death and the return. Which would be a great storyline, and I really want to see that. But if we do get it with this new franchise, it's just going to be double deja vu, because it's going to be, oh, Doomsday, there we go. The character that was ruined and was completely turned into a weak villain because he got beat by Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman in Batman vs. Superman. Completely destroyed the integrity of Doomsday, what little bit there was. You're making him appear to be a completely weak villain by having him appear in the franchise so early, just as this big giant generic monster for the heroes to fight at the end of the movie. I don't know what the fuck DC was thinking. I don't know what Warner Brothers was thinking. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Just like it doesn't make any sense to cast Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor or Lex Jr. Even if it is Lex Luthor's son, his performance still sucks. His performance is still so bad it makes my eyes bleed. One of the worst casting choices in recent memory. Jesse Eisenberg can't act. He plays the same role in every single movie. He's the next Michael Cera. He is the next Michael Cera. He's an incredibly overrated actor, and he's just bad. He's so out of place in this film. He's whiny. He's bitchy. He's a fucking pissant. He's supposed to be the son of Lex Luthor, or he's supposed to be Lex Luthor? Bullshit! And then for some reason he has to act like Edward Nygma. Because why, and I gotta be honest, why the hell is that a thing? Why is this a thing? Why is it a thing that we have not only once, but 3 times, where villains in superhero films recently have basically ripped off Jim Carrey's performance as Edward Nygma from Batman Forever? You had Guy Pearce. I think it's Guy Pearce. I believe it's Guy Pearce. You have Guy Pearce from Iron Man 3. You have... Yeah, I know. You have Iron Man 3, Killian. Iron Man 3, acting like Edward Nygma. You got Jamie Foxx from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And now you have Jesse Eisenberg and Batman vs. Superman. What the hell? Why is this happening not once but 3 times? Why is this a trend now? Why? Why are you ripping off Jim Carrey? Would you just fucking stop it already and come up with your own fucking character? Your own fucking performance, for fuck's sake. It's just so weird. Just all the things that you keep seeing. It's Jim Carrey's performance as Edward Nygma from Batman Forever. But yeah, I'm sorry, I got off topic there. I couldn't help myself. I had to get that off my chest. I did not like that recent trailer for Batman vs. Superman. It just pissed me off in so many different ways. Doomsday is now Zod's Day. Lex Luthor is a whiny pissant. And, Batman and Superman, Ben Affleck did not impress me in the trailer at all. He looked out of place. He didn't really look like he was owning the role to me. His voice sounded terrible. They're using a modulator for some fucking reason. And Henry Cavill still can't act. He's a block of wood. So and the performances were so tone deaf in the trailer that it just gave me a headache. I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. Maybe the movie will be better than the trailer, but man, that was a horrible trailer. Like that made the Civil War trailer look fantastic in comparison, and I didn't like that trailer either. So this isn't just one of those, oh, I'm a DC hater, Marvel fanboy. No, I didn't like the Civil War trailer either. It was nice to see Black Panther, but that's about it. So yeah, going back to my whole original reason why I made this video. Heroes versus heroes, a big case of who gives a fuck. Because, as you can see by all the trailers for these movies, you can see by the recent trailer for Batman vs. Superman, it's called Batman vs. Superman, but there's a shot at the end where Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are together, and they're fighting a monster. So that's pretty much what I thought it was going to be. They're going to fight, no one's going to win. And then they're going to team up at the end. Wonder Woman's going to show up, and they're going to fight Lex Luthor and some other big bad guy. I just wish it wasn't Doomsday. Like maybe Metallo, or or Bizarro. That would tie in with the whole evil Superman thing, but that's just going to be a dream sequence. Missed opportunity there by Warner Brothers and the writers. So yeah, and then Captain America Civil War is going to be the same thing. It's going to be they're going to fight. No one's going to win. Maybe one of the guys might die. I don't want to see that happen, but that's a chance that might happen. And then they're going to team up along with Black Panther. They're going to fight the main villain. There you go. There's your movie. That's the problem with these heroes versus heroes films. I don't give a fuck because I know for the most part how it's going to end. And you could say the same thing about, heroes versus villains, but heroes versus villains actually have someone to root against. I mean, heroes versus heroes, there's no true villain. There's no true evil. So then it becomes this sort of just clusterfuck of who gives, I don't really care. And then that's another problem with heroes versus heroes, is that they all become clusterfucks. Because there's way too many fucking characters. Captain America Civil War isn't even Captain America 3. It's Avengers 2.5. Because there's Black Widow, Iron Man, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Black Panther. There's all these different fucking characters. Spider-Man's going to make an appearance. And it's all in Captain America 3. I mean, that's not what I wanted the sequel to Winter Soldier to be at all. That's just way too much shit going on. And I don't think there's a possibility that they can pull it off. I mean, it's hard enough to do the Avengers movies. Now you're going to do it again with Avengers 2.5 with Captain America 3? And it's not even Captain America 3 because it's not really his movie. I mean, yes, it's about his battle trying to save his friend, but save his friend from his former teammate and other teammates who are teaming up against him. So it's like Avengers 2.5. And then with Batman vs. Superman, it's a Justice League prequel. It's a Batman film and it's a Superman movie. I don't know what DC was thinking and Warner Brothers was thinking making Batman vs. Superman the next film after Man of Steel. I just think it was just money. They want your money. That's it. They did that. They made that decision solely because they want your money. They don't have any patience. They don't want to wait. And then they keep saying we don't want to be like Marvel. And then they have lame jokes in the trailer where they say, "Oh, she with you? I thought, no, I thought she was with you." I'm serious. That's a joke. That's a fucking joke that they're doing with Wonder Woman. We don't want to be like Marvel, but we have jokes now. At the same time, I'm like, hey, it's good. You're not taking it so seriously. But at the same time, you're not standing by your word, and you're not doing what you said you were going to do. I mean, how am I supposed to look at that and be like, yeah, good for you for just basically saying you're going to do one thing and then doing a completely different thing? And in this case, it's just even lamer than anything I've ever seen Marvel attempt to do. I thought she was with you? Wow. Some genius screenwriters we got here. Some master comedians. I'll give you a golf clap. Nice one. I thought she was with you. What's next? You have one of them say, that's what she said? I mean, come on, man. So if that, you say you have that, and then it's just, Batman vs. Superman already looks like a clusterfuck. Civil War starting to look like a clusterfuck. Batman vs. Superman is absolutely a clusterfuck. How the fuck is it not going to be a clusterfuck? It's supposed to have Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, Superman, Batman, Lex Luthor, Doomsday. How the fuck are you going to fit all this shit into one movie? This is the kind of stuff that you do for like a miniseries, not in one entire movie. And to make matters worse, there are people like me who are still very leery of the new direction that Superman is going into. A lot of us didn't like Man of Steel. So you're going to use Man of Steel as your foundation for your cinematic universe? That's a pretty weak foundation in my opinion. That really is. So instead of doing a Man of Steel 2 and winning over the fans who didn't like Man of Steel, or at least trying to, you're going straight into Batman vs. Superman. When Superman is just barely an established character in this universe, and you're rebooting Batman again, so it just doesn't make any sense why they're going this direction. It's fucking lazy. It's lazy. It's just a money grab. and I'm not giving them my money. So, and you have, I mean, it's just so many different fucking things. It's gonna be one part Batman movie because we're gonna have to show Bruce's origin again. Which, why the fuck do we need to see Batman's origin again? Why do we need to see another scene of young Bruce around his dead parents? Why do I need to see Bruce Wayne's parents get shot and murdered again from the point of view of Ben Affleck? I don't need to see that. Why do we always need to see that in almost every Batman movie nowadays? Tim Burton got that right. He was like, I'll give you that about. I'm going to start out with Batman already being Batman, and then I'll give you the parents being murdered thing in a flashback later in the film, because I know that you know how Bruce Wayne became Batman. I know that you know that. I don't need to show it to you every single time we have a new Batman movie. So yeah, they're gonna do that again. They're gonna establish Ben Affleck's Batman into the DC cinematic universe, and then they're gonna try to establish the aftermath of Man of Steel with Superman, and then they gotta do Lex Luthor or Lex's son, and then they gotta do all that, and then they gotta set up the fight, and then they gotta do all this other. It's just too much fucking shit. It's too many moving parts. It's just too much. It's bound to break down. Films aren't meant to have that much shit going on in them, because you don't have enough time to accurately and effectively cover all those topics and all those subjects and all those plot points. You don't have the time to do it. If it's gonna be a 2.5 hour long movie, you don't have the time to cover all of that in 2.5 hours. It's not enough time because you have like 50 different storylines going on all at once. So that's another reason why Heroes versus Heroes, I don't really care for that storyline, is because that's what happens. It becomes a giant clusterfuck. That's why I prefer something like Batman versus Predator. I love that comic series. Batman faces off against the Predator. It's simple. Predator comes to Gotham, fucks people up. Batman goes after the Predator. Loses the first battle. Then he comes back, gets prepared in case the Predator's ass. It's simple. And you root for Batman. And it's still pretty cool because you got the Predator. And so Batman fights the Predator, and there's an actual villain, and there's an actual purpose. It feels like there's something. There's a purpose to it. At least with Civil War, I'll give it this: there is a reason behind the fighting. It's for Bucky, but with Batman versus Superman, it's just Batman thinks Superman is dangerous, and let's fight. That's really what it's. It's almost like Maverick versus Iceman in Top Guns. You know, Superman is Maverick, and Batman is Iceman, and Batman's like, I don't like you, Superman, because you're dangerous. You know, and then Maverick, Superman's like, yeah, that's right, I'm dangerous, and then Iceman's like, so that's like Batman would be like, yeah, you're dangerous. Now let's go. Let's fight. And then they're going to shake hands later. And then they're going to be like, yeah, I was wrong about you, Batman. You could be my wingman anytime. I mean, it's the same shit. But it's okay. It's unlike Top Gun because, it's just a small little subplot. The movie's not called Iceman versus Maverick. But anyway, this is just my thoughts personally on this. I really don't know what else to say about this topic, except I'm really not looking forward to either of these movies. I'll probably... the only one I might see is Civil War, because I'm a big Captain America fan, but even then, I probably wouldn't pay for it. It would be something that my stepdad, we'd have to go see together, and he'd pay for a ticket for me, because I'm not paying money to see that, or Batman vs. Superman. I'll probably wait to see those on like a DVD or Blu-ray rip or HD rip later, because I really don't have any really strong desire to see either of them right now. I don't think either of their trailers did a good job selling the film, and like I said, I just think their whole stories are going to have crippling flaws. It's a case of who gives a fuck. I don't really want to see the heroes fight each other, and I know how it's going to end. They're going to team up. They're going to fight another, an actual evil, a bigger evil than whatever it was that was compelling them to fight each other. And yeah, it's not saying other films that deal with that aren't predictable, because they are. Good versus evil is predictable a lot of the time too, because good usually triumphs over evil a lot of the time. But good versus good has the same problem, and it just isn't as interesting. It isn't as I just don't think it's as captivating or as enthralling or as fun to watch as just a simple good versus evil storyline. Good versus good just has me going like, I don't have anybody to root against. I don't, there's no true villain. I'm like, Iron Man's kind of a dick, but I don't really want him to get his ass kicked. I mean, yeah, he has a point. If Winter Soldier did kill his dad, then maybe he has a point to be upset, but he could come across and you could handle it differently. Understand Cap's point of view without having to punch him in the face, but who knows? I don't know. I mean, maybe the film will work it all out, and I'll be surprised. And if I am, I'll admit it. Um, but I just have a hard time giving a shit about either of these movies because I don't really care about the outcome. And I just wish we had a real Captain America 3. There are plenty of other storylines from Cap's, uh, coming from his repertoire, from all of his comics. There's plenty of great stories you could have adapted rather than Civil War. And same thing goes for Batman versus Superman. You could have just done Man of Steel 2 with Luthor and Metallo and win over fans like me who were leery of Man of Steel. And you could have Batman have his introduction, the new Batman have his introduction in Suicide Squad, and then you could bring in the new Batman reboot movie with Ben Affleck, and then you can have Batman versus Superman, and then you can have Justice League. Or while you have the new Batman movie, you also have the Flash movie. Or you give Wonder Woman her own film. You build it up. You build up to Justice League. Just because Marvel took their time doesn't mean that you should just do the complete opposite. Because Marvel took their time for a reason. Because it makes sense. It makes sense to take your time and build up your characters and build up your heroes and give them their own films and their own worlds to play in and give them their equal respect that they deserve, rather than just throwing them in short cameos in a Batman versus Superman movie. They're going at it too quickly. They're rushing things. And because they want to compete with Marvel, and I understand it, but they need to take it easy and understand that just because Marvel took their time doesn't mean that they can't take their time either. Because that's the logical decision. That's the most logical decision to make with something like the Justice League and with all of these characters. DC has the rights to all their characters. Warner Brothers and DC are, I think they're pretty much owned by the same company, so they have the rights to their characters. Marvel doesn't. So DC has something that Marvel doesn't have, and they're just rushing shit way too fast for Batman vs. Superman. Because they're only thinking about the money. They're thinking about the dollar signs. And if Batman vs. Superman somehow fails, that'll be a very crippling, tough blow to their cinematic universe that they're trying to build. So I just wish they took their time. I really do. And for Marvel, I wish they didn't just go straight into Civil War already. Fuck Civil War. That comic, a lot of people hated that comic. Give us an actual Captain America 3. You can have your Civil War later. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later. See ya.